Hello loves, in today's video we are going to watch and react to a James Charles YouTube video. Now I don't really watch much James Charles. I don't think I've really seen hardly any of his videos. I think I've seen a couple in the past when they've kind of come up as recommended, but I really don't watch his channel at all. If you don't know who James Charles is a mega YouTube makeup personality. So the video we're going to watch today is called Doing Addison Rae's Makeup. Now this has 12.5 million views, and by the time I edit this video and upload it, it's probably going to have like 20 billion more. Now I wanted to react to this video in particular because in a lot of James Charles's videos he does his own makeup, and you know, a person can do their own makeup pretty much however they like, but I kind of wanted to watch this from the point of view of him doing someone else's makeup and that person is a client, because as a makeup tutor that's what I'm teaching people to do. So we're going to watch this together and let's see what happens.
My YouTube channel. As you guys can see, today I'm joined with a very special guest.
Addison!
Addison Rae! Welcome to the channel, sister! I'm so excited to finally be filming a video together. You guys have been requesting it literally non-stop. Contrary to me and Charlie, Addison and I have posted lots and lots of things together at this point. We've been hanging out non-stop. We went to playlists together. We went to Disney together.
Disney was so much fun.
Oh,
So much fun.
Finally, we're sitting down today to film a YouTube video for you guys because everyone's been asking for me to glam up Addison. She just posted her very first makeup tutorial.
No, actually it's my second.
Okay, well, regardless, it was questionable. So now we are here today because I wanted to glam up Addison. I have a really fun idea for a look that I want to do. I also have so many things that I want to talk to you about. Your rise to fame on TikTok, everything around the world with the Hype House and just Addison Rae in general. Everyone's favorite person right now. So if you guys want to watch us get glam and hang out, keep on watching.
I've just skipped it forward a little bit because there's like a whole section where James is plucking her eyebrows, which I don't mean to be rude, but I don't care about. So I'm just gonna skip it.
Oh my gosh, who is this girl? Like, I saw her on my...
Okay, so the first thing with this is, I feel like James has made his job really difficult because obviously he wants them to both be on camera in that position where they can both be seen, and it's almost a bit more like a traditional interview situation. But the problem with that is you can never really see what's happening on the other side of the person's face. Like, the best and easiest way to do someone's makeup is to actually get centrally in front of them. And when they're on the side, even with good lighting, you're always kind of battling and you have to kind of climb across them, and it's very difficult. So he's sort of got a harder job to get this done anyway. He also hasn't tied her hair back or put clips in her hair, so he's constantly having to move her hair with his hands, which again, I mean, he's just making his life a little bit harder, really.
Saw her on my For You page and then October 27th, I hit 1 million.
I love that you remember that date. That's cute.
Yeah, I remember it exactly.
And now, a few months later, you're at almost 30 million.
Yeah, just never thought this day would come.
So you grew up in...
Okay. Now this is his friend, and obviously they're very comfortable together and blah blah, but my pet peeve, guys, let's just take a second to talk about this. One of my pet peeves with makeup is, well, makeup artists and makeup students, because makeup students do this and then I drew that out of them, is the hand on the head grapple touching thing. So there's not really any need to grip your client by the skull, and you know, I don't really know what the benefit of doing that is other than making them really uncomfortable. Like, for me personally, as a person that has a really bad neck, you literally couldn't do that to me. Like, you actually couldn't put your hand on top of my head and put pressure on it. My neck wouldn't withstand that. And it's really uncomfortable. Like, as a client, to have your head gripped and then be leaned upon, it's really uncomfortable. So that's like my uber pet peeve. When I see people do that, I think they are not a professional, because no proper professional makeup artist is grabbing hold of somebody's skull when they're doing their makeup, particularly not when they're just putting translucent powder on them.
School in August.
And how many followers were you at that time?
I'm gonna say
she's so young and has such lovely skin. I don't know, kind of feel like she doesn't need all that white concealer in the middle of her face. Like, she just didn't have under eye bags to begin with. So it's quite a heavy application for somebody that already has quite nice skin, I think.
I'd say probably like 300K.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I would assumed it would have been like a few million at this
No,
point.
no.
So when did you ultimately make the decision to drop out then?
We used the...
Okay, I'm just going to pause this for a second. When I'm looking at this girlie's skin, because there's so much light in the centre and it's so bronzed around the outside, it looks a little strange. So, you know, keeping light in the centre of the face is actually really important. That's something that we try to do to make the face look more symmetrical. But the problem is it's so light in the middle that probably on a photograph that'll look fine. But because this isn't a photograph, because this is actually a moving image, when she's moving around, she just looks like she has a brown circle around the outside of her face.
Went eat, and he kind of just like...
Went eat?
Yeah.
Went to eat?
Okay, maybe that's a Louisiana thing. I don't know, Louisiana people don't really have a bunch of like vocabulary.
We went eat?
We went eat.
We went to eat.
He was talking to me about like what I want to do.
We're applying an awful lot of powder. I mean, maybe if she's oily, what I would probably suggest in this case is if you are someone that's oily and you're feeling like you're going to need a little bit of extra makeup insurance, rather than piling powder on, because the more powder you put on top of powder, the more texture you add, which again, you know, it on here probably looks okay, but in real life will look very you will really see it'll look quite grainy. What I would probably recommend instead is trying to combat it with skincare first, or even doing the layer of powder and a bit of setting spray before you put your foundation on. And then that way you don't have to keep like layering powder on top of powder, specifically on someone who's so young and got such like smooth skin anyway.
I want to do and like where I want to take this, and I was kind of like, what the heck, like what do you mean where do I want to take this, you know what I mean? Like I didn't think that was a possibility to like make it anything more than what it was at the moment. And so ended up going back and like meeting everyone, and then they ended up being like, hey, you should totally come back next weekend and like just hang out with us, and like we want to just get to know you better. And I was like, I'm in college, but like... So
what's interesting now is, because the different powders that have gone on and been buffed out and blended, now Addison's skin looks like it is more even, so she doesn't seem to have quite so much white in the center of the face and dark around the edges. So it just seems like an odd thing. It seems like there's extra steps there for no reason. Like there's no point in doing something if you then have to undo it. So it would have made sense to have just made her face initially all one color and then used the powder products instead to add the definition, because what we've ended up with is we've ended up doing something and undoing it. Do you know what I mean?
My ground and like, you know, being a part of the Hype House just by being in that first photo shoot.
Right, it was like the establishing moment.
Exactly. So like it just happened.
So I'm slightly confused here, because it looks like James is doing a nose contour with a smaller brush, but Addison's nose is already slight and very even. So now it's sort of a slightly unnecessary step. She doesn't really need that. What she's ended up with now is a very skinny nose, whereas the one that she had pre-contour was actually really in proportion to her face. So again, it's just a step that she just doesn't need.
It didn't even mean, it wasn't even like on intentionally or anything. It was just like, so I was in the photos, and then that's when the Hype House began. It was like, you know what?
That's when what was the word you used?
Resigned.
That's when you resigned.
That's when I resigned and decided to pursue other.
So like, what does the day-to-day schedule of Addison Rae look like? And just like walk us through, because even from like hanging out with you guys, it's definitely not nothing.
So James is applying, I think, a brow product here on an angle brush. I can't quite see what he's doing because, you know, obviously for him to be able to do it, she's now having to face him side on, so I can't quite see, but we'll see when she turns around what it looks like.
Like, that's for sure.
Yeah. So like being on TikTok, I feel like people do have like the idea that it is a bunch of nothing and like we're just sitting in our rooms and like making videos. Really tough past few months, and I felt so happy recently around everyone, and I just wanted to say thank you for being so kind and sweet. Like I truly get the best energy from you, and I'm really grateful for you.
So James is applying some eye contour now, or like a bit of definition on the eye using a small brush. And again, this is really difficult. I feel like he's made it, this is actually really tough. I would really struggle to put makeup on somebody when they were talking consistently, like constantly talking, because they're kind of moving around and fidgeting. Now also she's looking at her phone, which anyone who's ever done makeup on a person knows that when someone's doing that, it is actually quite difficult because they naturally start to lean their head forward, and he's sitting on her side leaning across her trying to put eyeshadow on. So this is not an easy job. So if this looks good at the end, I'm going to be impressed.
Goddess.
We're gonna cut cameras for a little bit and do the other eye off camera, then we'll be right back to finish off the rest of this look. All right, you guys, we are back and both eyes are now complete. I am literally obsessed with how this is looking so far.
Okay, so James has decided to just show doing the one eye on camera, and then he's gone off to do the other eye, and we've cut to it being done. And I think that was a good move, and I think that was necessary because I just don't know how you would possibly get them the same when the person is sitting straight on. The makeup look that he's done is perfect for Addison's like skin tone and for her age, and it's lovely and gorgeous and glammy. For me, he's touched her face too much. Like even in the moment when he was putting his hand up and sort of leaning on her face here, that's a personal pet peeve of mine. If you can try and avoid touching your client as much as possible and handling them as much as possible, it's just good practice. This is obviously his friend, so you know, if it was when I'm doing makeup on my friend, I probably touch them a bit more than I should.
Oh, this is exactly what I was envisioning. I had Addison pop on her mascara off camera because she is literally the pro. I wish I had your lashes. It's
Thank you.
so annoying. But I'm now gonna pop on a pair of falsies on top. These are the Lily lashes in the style Miami Flares. You guys know these are my all-time favorite right now. And you can use
So fast. I'm like, I need captions on this video.
And you can use code James for 15% off if you guys want to check them out.
Wow.
This is good.
I think this is a nice look. I think as I say, I think that it suits her. It's pretty. It's not sort of over the top. He's not gone over the top on the highlighter. That's the dog's feet you can hear. Yeah, I think it's good. If you enjoyed this video and you would like to see me do more of these kinds of reaction videos, just let me know in the comments below, and I will see you again soon with another video.